ladies and gentlemen, filmmakers, my tongue is twisted, filmmakers and moviegoers alike. Welcome to this week's episode of Critically Casual. I'm your host, Srekcuf, and joining me as always is Dev. Say hi, Dev.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, hey,
Oh
look,
wait, you know what's probably a problem? My mic's really far away.
I can suddenly.
That sounds way better.
That does sound way better. Holy crap. It's a miracle. Well,
I had it all the way. I had it all the way back here.
okay. Now it's for good. Being closer, being within your sound range is good. I say as I remove hair off of my microphone. All right. So, do we have anything we want to talk about before we hop into this week's movies? Other than I'm sorry for us being late.
And this one might be a little confusing for longtime viewers.
It's not going to be that bad. You're underestimating the intelligence of our viewers.
No, I'm more just saying.
It's fine. Just because it's not your way for one. I'm just kidding, Deb. All right, we're hopping into today's episode, which I have dubbed "Dolls." Dolls, dolls. Or as Dad had called it earlier, it's "Deadly Dolls," with Child's Play, the 2019 version, and Annabell. Did I spell that right? I don't think I did. And Annabell Comes Home. Whoops.
Yeah, you forgot the last E.
Yes, I did. Accidents happen. Today is going to be a rough day. it's made and then it's uploaded here. There's no live editing. It's there now.
If you're watching this on YouTube and suddenly an E appears, I don't know what happened.
Oh, that's not happening. I don't know what you're talking about.
You know how easy it would be for you to fix it, actually? All you'd have to do is create the graphic again and just
throw it on
overlay it.
top. Yeah, I know. It'd be really simple. But am I lazy?
And right now it's moving around or showing off that you did it and all that stuff.
We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'm lazy. And now there's a text that says, "Yep, I'm lazy." All right. All right. So today it's dolls, dolls, dolls.
Or Air 303, lazy.
Laziness was found. Yeah. Okay. So this week, movie number 1 that we're going to talk about is Child's Play. Movie number 2 we're hopping in is Annabell Comes Home. And then we're going to, I guess we're switching back into Child's Play to discuss that one. Because initially I thought we were going to do Annabelle, but we didn't discuss it. And then Dev wanted to do Child's Play. And ultimately, I guess he's right. We'll have a better conversation in the spoiler section for that one. So,
Yeah.
might as well.
It's like we don't like with Annabelle, what we have to talk about, I can talk about without spoiling it.
I guess that's true, yeah. So, with that in mind, we're going to spoil Child's Play after talking about Annabelle. Only because this is how
There might be
the
some
graphics-
compare and contrast.
It could be some compare and contrast. I mean, yeah. Either way. So, any last news? Any last words, Dev?
Not off the top of my head.
Alright. Well, then we're just going to hop right on into our first movie for today, which is Child's Play. Yay. Hooray. It's Child's Play.
Hooray.
So, Dev,
Yes.
I'm going to start off by saying I was bored this week. And this was the first movie I saw this week.
Well, that's fair. I'm gonna preface this with I saw this one second. Okay. After, because I watched these, like, there was only less than an hour in between I saw these, okay?
Okay.
So I went down to one of the local pizza places I really like. Got myself a apple ale. It's really dark apple ale, actually. It was like a red apple ale. It had something else in there, I can't remember what, but it was good. Had that in a calzone. Okay.
Yes. Sounds
So my
delicious.
spirits were already lifted after, and I will discuss my thoughts on Annabelle after, but they are not going to be pleasant. I went into this film and had a lot more fun because one, Mark Hamill
Mark Hamill's
is
good.
the perfect casting for this character.
Yeah. I would agree. Sure, yeah.
He doesn't use his Joker voice.
No, that was one of my favorite things. I was wondering how much he'd slip into like a Joker voice, but he doesn't. He just puts on a little bit of creepiness to his voice, and it's nice. I like it. It's not Joker.
It goes to prove that Mark Hamill is a fantastic voice actor because he does a lot of characters who aren't the Joker for voice acting.
Yes.
A lot of people don't remember this. He's played Sinestro and stuff. He's the fucking trickster in Flash in the original and in the current running Flash shows. So he's played a lot of roles. He knows what he's doing. And his character is if number 5 from Short Circuit and the Joker had a baby, and that baby had a baby with Hal 3000, and that's Chucky in this movie.
See, okay, go ahead. Yeah. Like, I agree with you to an extent. Like, Mark Hamill was definitely the best part of this film to me. But all in all, I don't think that's enough for me to give this enough of, like, a praise or a boost or anything.
I'm not praising it. I never said I was going to praise it. I just said I far more enjoyed this film than I did the other. I actually, I found myself... I wasn't laughing out loud because in a theater, I don't laugh a lot unless I'm with a group of people. Like, if I'm with people I know, I'm more likely to laugh. Or if it's goddamn Endgame. That Endgame's a different thing of its own. So that's not even a fair comparison. It's, but I found myself smiling and enjoying this film more with Chucky being this, being number 5 learning the world, but without being without the care of dismantle.
Okay.
Because you've seen Short Circuit, right?
Yes.
One of my favorite films growing up. And the fact that this entire movie, I'm like, this is if that goddamn robot went rogue. That's what this is.
So with me in this film, I'm in a rough state because I was initially, when I watched the first Child's Play and the Brides of Chucky and the Cult of Chucky and all that stuff back when it first came out, I was traumatized by it, man. That stuff was scary for me. And I really genuinely love how they adapted Chucky into the modern story that they did, because I was the most creeped out with this film with the first 5-10 minutes of this movie. And it was just the exposition of what was happening, and I was just like, ugh, this is creepy. But then after that, every point after, it was just random jump scares that were okay, and the overall, nothing really happens in this story that I felt was important. But still, I loved what they did. They took Chucky and they adapted it to the modern era in a way that is amazing. In my schools, when I was in theater, when doing movie stuff, not in theater, sorry. When I took my horror classes, I learned that horror is an element of its times. And for example, there's black horror, there's ghost horror when spectral things were becoming scary. There was all that random stuff with things that people are afraid of random things during certain time periods. And modern day people are starting to become afraid of technology and what it can do. So they're taking that techno fear, as I've dubbed it, and they're putting it into an old school property to try and revitalize it. And they do okay, but it's just not good enough.
Hey, that's fair. I'll say this. I don't think this movie was ever going to try to be good enough.
You don't think it wanted to be good enough?
I think it just wanted to have fun with it. It's a classic property of slashers. And let's be honest, slashers haven't been doing great these days. Other than Halloween, for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know why Halloween's amazing according to critics.
Yeah, we were very different on that one. But if you look at it, the last Friday the 13th just flopped. The last Nightmare on Elm Street flopped. This film, I don't think will make all of its money back first weekend. Depending on how much it's trying to make, I didn't check it yet. But I think it had the right elements to make it an entertaining film that's going to be dated in about 2 years.
Yes. Either that, or it's actually going to be more relevant to the masses and more terrifying. Because I kind of determined this film as something that old people and rich white people would love to fear. Because like this would be something that they could connect to easily, or people who run off of like smart homes, like upper high end middle class people. Like that this is something that they would probably love to be afraid of, but anyone who can't afford, I don't know, the luxuries of having everything be connected, they don't have as much to be invested in this film. So you have to try and work a little more on some of the, like the story building and the creepiness that happens, and they don't really do that in this movie. It's just, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad story that they tell, but it's not a scary story that they tell either.
It's almost heartbreaking.
A little
bit. Uh oh.
Yeah, there was a lag spike there. We're good now.
All right, we're back. It's almost heartbreaking. It was the story they tell.
Yeah. Oh god. There are moments when it's like, oh, and there are other moments it's like, oh, and then there are moments when you're like, oh. And it's weird.
There are a few of those.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, there was definitely more. I would agree with, like, I thought there was a bit more comedy in this movie than there was horror, because some of it was a bit out there at times, but
it was trying to be memey.
Yeah.
At moments, it was very much trying to tap into meme culture, which, I mean, I can't blame you. Like,
sure you can
tap into that shit. It's that time. We're at that time in our lives. Meme culture is a thing.
No,
Go ahead and tap into it.
Meme culture, fuck it. So is outrage culture, but you're not saying endorse that.
That's completely different. No, I personally also feel like the cast isn't bad.
I'm gonna double check the cast because I haven't seen that in full quite yet. But I would, for the most part, agree with you.
There's one actor who I'm like, is that who I think it is? It's not who I think it is.
Who did you think it was?
Never... There's a guy, I feel really bad, who looks like a very young Jack Black.
Oh, him. Yes.
I'm like, that's not Jack Black. What? His name is Trent Rednacope. I think is how you say his last name. He plays this janitor dude. And the entire time I'm like, you're not who I think you are. I know that much.
I mean, yeah, he does a really good job at playing a creep, but he definitely, like, in most of his scenes, looks kind of like Jack Black. I would agree with you.
Yeah, it was tough for me to be like, you're not him, but you look a lot like him.
It's hard to say. Like, when it comes to the acting, clearly Mark Hamill nails it, and a lot of it has. A lot of my big things. I think a lot of the reasons why I wasn't afraid is because you could kind of tell if you look closely at the CG in this film, like when it switched from being an animatronic to being. Yeah, and that really ruined a lot of it for me. And you can kind of tell with the actors and actresses too, like their acting in the moment with Chucky kind of changed ever so slightly. It was minor because
I was impressed with the animatronics.
Oh yeah,
I'll say that.
Yeah,
that was some good animatronics. You could straight up tell it wasn't CG in a lot of this movie.
Mm-hmm. But then
it turned CG in like I want to say maybe 3-ish scenes,
and every single one of them you could tell. And some of it was really minor. Like it would be one scene where the animatronic is just like moving his arm, and then suddenly his entire body changes, and he's like stab, yeah, kind of thing. And it's like, whoa, huh?
Yeah,
okay.
And then there's like a different thing that pops up that is obviously CG when it walks into the room, and I'm like, oh yeah, that is very much CG. And again, that does hit my one problem with CG, is when it obviously like changes the quality of the film.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny that I keep going back to Bleach on this.
Go for it. Give me your analogy.
That Bleach is good. I enjoyed Bleach out of all the dumb anime movies that Netflix has had. I enjoyed Bleach the most so far, and part of it is also because their CG was just consistent the entire time.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
There's the thing for me: quality, consistency. You got to keep that consistency through the film. The moment you start to drop that quality down for something, is the moment my brain goes like, "All right, whatever." So this was one of those moments.
Yeah. This film was a lot of fun at times, but overall, like, I want to be terrified. And, like, that's the problem that I've been finding more and more difficult lately in the, like, modern horror cinema, is it's not very scary. It's more gimmicky and...
Unless you have the right directors.
Yes.
You want to know a movie actually looks scary?
What's that?
Like the trailers that we saw. Did you see it? Scary Stories.
Oh, that one I was really iffy on because it both at moments looked terrifying, but also looked kind of like a gory Jumanji. So I don't.
I think it's very much it's Del Toro who's directing that one.
That's the reason why I'm interested.
And he is very much about practical effects. And you can see it in the freaking trailer how much practical is in it. And it looks good, like just visually. So I'm already kind of sold on that one. I want to see it, and two, I have the books in a box, so I have Scary Stories and more Scary Stories to tell in the dark.
Oh, does that mean
so,
there's
like,
going to be a sequel? Oh, fuck.
Probably, and hopefully it's with Del Toro, because he's good. Because I personally feel like he has a unique style that makes you go like, man, that looks cool.
Mm-hmm. And he does a lot too with like lore building and like some of these characters, and like it's been a long time since I've done anything with stories you tell in the dark. I'm pretty sure I read it when I was a child, but like they have a lot of weird, interesting, complex monsters in there that you don't really learn much about, but Del Toro could really do a lot with those.
Oh yeah, no, like there's the toe one, where the kid's like, oh, this is a bean, and he pulls out the toe, and then the thing comes to get the toe, and
what's that movie? I think it was it's an older horror film. It's reminding me of this a lot, like. Not Child's Play, since we're kind of off topic a little bit here. Fuck. It was like Wife's Tale or something like that. It was literally a movie.
No idea.
It was a horror movie based around like these people dying from these causes of death that were from old wives' tales, like Bloody Mary and like spiders laying eggs in people's skin and things like that.
Okay, you need to stop before I get sick.
I mean, it's all. We also kind of saw that.
Shut up, man. That's the one scene that I'm gonna be crawling in my own skin. With that one scene. But no, like, and you know the other person who's doing horror that I feel like is genuinely
James Wan.
Like,
go ahead.
Well, he's the Conjuring films. The Conjuring series of films, like the ones that say Conjuring, you and I have both agreed are not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Peele.
Oh, yeah. But he's into that weird abstract horror stuff, you know?
Yeah, but that works,
it's
dude.
Good. It works for the time. It really does. So, let's get back on track with Child's Play real fast.
Yeah. My big thing is that, like, I don't think scary horror is something we're going to get much anymore. Like, I don't mean to burst your bubble, but it's something that I think is kind of where we're at with modern horror, especially with characters that are slashers.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
we're just past that time. Like, we're both past I don't know how to explain it. You're right for the most part. Like, it's just not scary horror. Like, people go to see horror movies to watch the blood and gore and stuff for the most part. It's not to feel creeped out as you wait for something to happen. It's to see it happen, and yeah.
And a lot of it happened because of Saw. Let's be honest. Saw kind of changed the modern horror like elements.
It was. Yeah, you're not entirely
That and
wrong.
Final Destination, and became more about body counts than actual like intensity.
I'm all about that intensity, man.
Hey, you know me. That's the same thing for me. And I've been very vocal. I'm not a huge horror fan, and neither of these movies, none of the jump scares got me.
Yeah, that and the worst part is that like the jump scares were the scariest part of this movie, and none of them were really that scary, and there weren't that many. There's like maybe 4
Yeah.
or 5 that I can remember off the top of my head, and none of them scary.
You just know they're coming too. Like,
And
not really a spoiler, but there's a scene where a guy's looking in the fridge and Chucky's in the closet. He closes the fridge for a second, looks over. Chucky's not in the closet. Opens the fridge again, closes the fridge, and all of a sudden Chucky's there.
Yeah, that's the classic misdirection jump scare. There's 2 types of jump scares. There's the classic just set up jump scare, and then there's set up misdirect jump scare. That's all that they do.
Yeah.
At
And
least,
it just kind of is there. That's all it is.
like, I'm gonna, at least in the next movie that we're gonna talk about, they kind of change it up a little bit when it comes to the setup of a jump scare, but it's not much better.
If any better.
If any. I haven't got much else I want to say before we hop into spoilers on this one. So we should hop over to the other movie before we hop into spoilers on this one. Yes, I see the follow we just got.
Oh, did we get a follow? Oh, sorry, I don't have mine up.
Yeah. Thank you to, I don't know, sometimes I see these names and I wonder, like, I know who it is because if you remember the last time we got a name similar to this.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly who it is.
Yeah, it's the same exact thing, just the middle has changed. So,
Cool.
thank you, I guess, once more for your follow.
Go ahead. He's gonna unfollow again. That's what he did last time.
Yeah,
So
because we don't follow for follow.
why would we follow someone?
I don't. I don't. Yeah. So, Dev,
Yeah.
anything else before I give you your 10 popcorn kernels?
No, I got nothing else I can add before spoiler section. So.
Okay, so yeah, you have 10 popcorn kernels. How many would you give to Chucky here? Child's Play, I mean.
Well, I'd give Chucky a few because he'll probably stab me if I don't. Or my bud. Let me see. I'd give it a 5.5.
5.5?
Yeah,
Okay.
enjoyable enough.
Yeah, it's I was leaning at a 5 myself. Like, it's fine. I'm sure if you love Chucky, you'd be fine with this movie. They did an okay job adapting it to the modern era, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
Be scarier, damn it. All right, next movie. Next.
Yeah.
Movie. So, this one I did spell correctly, thankfully.
Congrats.
Yay! I'm not the dumbest person in the world. So yeah, this week, movie 2 is Annabell Comes Home. Technically, Annabelle Chapter 3.
Yes.
Keeping that in mind, all that I thought we got from this film was our look into our next couple of spin-offs. Like,
Without a doubt.
it's just, this movie, to me, I actually liked it more than Child's Play. when it came to building of tension, and I liked the cinematography only because they stuck a little bit more with a fixed camera angle than they did with the constantly moving camera, and that's something that we don't get much nowadays, and I kind of appreciate that. Like, it just looks different than what we get when it comes to movies. It doesn't let us feel control. Like, we feel like we're stuck in one area and we just have to let things happen, and I kind of like that.
Fair. My biggest problem with this film, though, is exactly what he brought up earlier. This is nothing but spin-off bait.
Yeah, it really is just that. Like, the moments that they have in this film that I thought were kind of cool was, like, maybe the color wheel moment.
Yeah.
Like, the doll scene in the trailer that was spoiled, I thought that was good in the movie. And
Which one?
with the bed sheets.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that I thought was pretty cool. But, like... Oh, and the setup outside of the cemetery I thought was pretty interesting. But overall, the rest of it, it was just kind of boring, old, pretty bad tropes.
Oh, yeah. With some actually terrible CGI at one point.
Which one? If you don't mind me asking, was it the smoke?
Yes.
Okay. I thought so.
Man, that was, that was not, good CGI?
No? Yes? Maybe? I don't know. No, it was bad. All in all, this film was kind of bad. And it sucks because, like, I don't know what they're trying to do anymore with the Conjuring movies and their connection. Like, the original The Conjuring was about, you know, blah, 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 blah. Annabelle and Annabelle Origins were about other people. They took out the Warrens, the parents, which were kind of important in the other movies, and I thought were going to be important in this one, but they aren't at all. And the two characters, like the three characters that we actually do care about, nothing happens to them that's worth any investment at all. And, like, one of the characters I genuinely hated, even though they try to make it out that she's a character that we're supposed to feel sorry for. But, like...
Is it the friend?
Yes.
Daniela?
Yes. Like, I genuinely hated her and her character at every moment of this film, and just couldn't deal with her. But we're supposed to feel for her and feel sorry for her. And, like, to me, this movie kind of just wraps up too nicely in a bow. Everything's just happens and then it's done, and nothing that happens matters, and that's that.
Yeah. No, that's everything wraps up in a bow. It shows you enough things that the Warrens have collected that are like, ooh, you want to know how they got this one?
Yeah. Ooh.
What's the story behind this?
Who's this person that you saw twice on screen? We'll show you next time.
Dragon Ball Z.
On
Yeah, that's what this movie was. Like, I mean, god damn it! Like, I was hopeful. I was like, maybe this one will be good because I've heard the other two Annabelles are good.
I was hopeful on this one too. Because...
And it was a snooze fest.
Yeah, this one was a lot slower when it came to getting to the scary moments in the movie. Like, even in compared to Chucky, or Child's Play.
Dude, nothing happens for the first half of this film.
Yeah, like at least 45 minutes to an hour. We're just sitting there and dealing with, like...
If there's tension building, I'll admit this. There's little moments of tension building, like little spooks. Nothing that's like a scare, but like just spooks that are supposed to build the tension to what's to come. But there are better ways you can do that.
Yeah, and like, it's just once again, it just all seemed too convenient. Like, literally, everything happened exactly as it needed to happen, or as somebody was asking for it to happen. And, like, don't get me wrong, it's people trying to possess, it's monsters trying to possess people, so they'll take advantage of whatever they can. But that just still feels too cheap and convenient, at least to me. So
I agree. I agree full-heartedly. Like, everything that happens in this film just seems to just, like, and then this happens. Oh. Kind of thing. Like, everything falls in line as they intended, kind of thing.
Yeah, they set up every single thing in this movie, and it's like, I don't know, it feels too well put together for like a horror story aspect. Like, it all feels kind of like a fairy tale fantasy with how it all just kind of wraps up nicely. But at the same time, when you try to like look at what's happening elsewhere, like with all the things that are supposed to be scary, it doesn't feel like a connected story. Like,
no, and I think part of the problem is that it's overloaded with stuff that's supposed to be scary.
Yeah,
that you're like, oh cool, this is there now.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, one of my observations in the middle of watching this movie was that to make it feel scary, they had to separate the kids so they could each deal with somebody at a different point in time. But we were all watching at the same point in time, so the pacing felt like it was okay. But when you kind of look at it individually, it's like, why would this even happen? Like, why the hell would this character have to fight this person alone in a closet because this girl decided she needed to pray? Or, like,
well,
like, I know.
Yeah, no, there's things like that. It's
like, my friend's about to go into a very scary thing, and we decided we weren't gonna split up. I'm gonna let her go in there by herself. Yeah, and I'll pray for her. Yeah. I'm helping.
Yeah, it's rough.
But at least they, like, it wasn't immediate when it came to their jumps, like, their scares. It was always built up to me. That was something I can appreciate. It wasn't just a sudden, ah! It was always like a slow build towards the intense scare. Most of the time, the intense scare wasn't scary, but it was there at least. There was an effort, which I can appreciate.
I don't even feel like there was much effort, personally.
Sure, I can both see it, but, like, part of me feels like the effort that they used was to pad the runtime, because there isn't much story here, so they had to, like, spread it out. But I enjoy that at least a bit, because it just, I don't know, I like being slow rolled, blue balled when it comes to horror.
Well, I'll say this: there are other ways to build up tension. Like, not to go back to it, but look at Jordan Peele's movies.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Those are slow tension builders, but they do it in the right ways.
Mm-hmm. And then what they build up to is totally worth it.
Yes, and they when they pop off, right? Like, just in two films, the moment when those two films popped off, we're just like, holy shit.
Yeah, it just switches
what
gears.
What the fuck? Mm-hmm. This film was like, oh, there's this scary trope thing. I felt like I was watching a Scooby-Doo episode.
You're not 100% wrong if you think about it.
It's the monster from the Blue Lagoon!
He's been hunting people for 20 years, keeping them away. Well, we'll catch him. Oh, and everyone's back. All 20 years
It's Mr. Abrams!
Yeah. And now suddenly all
the
got
away
20
with
years...
I would have gotten away with it, too, if it wasn't for you meddling kids!
That's what happens in this. It's like, one child messes with things, and the other two fix it, and yeah. I don't want to spoil too much, but that's basically is what happens in this.
With a whole bunch of... Wait till you see what this guy's real story is.
Yeah. The amount... Yeah, they had...
You want to know about the ferryman?
He was the exact one I was thinking of.
He's getting a spin-off without a doubt. Ferryman's getting a spin-off.
And it's going to be the same blonde actress, and she's going to be the last character that was abducted. Probably. And then the Warrens are going to come in or somebody and they're going to figure it out and fix it.
Or they'll go back to its past and we'll see Theodore fucking Roosevelt look alike. With his why he has coins over his eyes. And then there's this Hellhound character
Which
who shows up.
Now we're talking like Nazi zombies video games. For fuck's sakes. Like it's Call of Duty.
Yeah, this Hellhound is the character that we were talking about that was terrible CGI. He's made out of mist and comes out of nowhere, and suddenly it's like, I'm like,
he's not.
I'm tapped out. What the fuck? Like, I literally, it's rare that in a film I literally look at my watch and go, huh? I've still got to sit here for 40 fucking minutes. Fuck.
Yeah. Like, the one thing I can say, at least the Hellhounds weren't like completely out of nowhere. Like, the Hellhound, they at least mention it, and we get to see paperwork that exists about it, so that's fine.
Well, you can see that each of these exist beforehand,
yeah.
like...
Well, kind of. One of them, we don't. We don't get to see the...
Are you talking about the armor?
No, well, kind of, yes. I was more thinking the demon dude.
Oh, that's from the other Annabelles, though.
Okay. But, like...
That's the creature that possesses Annabelle.
That one?
So...
Okay.
So that's set up in the other two Annabelle films.
That makes sense then. That helps. Because from what we've seen in this film, like we got an explanation for the ferryman, we got an explanation for the Hellhounds, we got an explanation for the knife lady, but we didn't have an explanation for him. And that. But yeah, it all makes sense now. Now that I'm thinking about it, now that you mentioned that, it makes sense. We're fine. It's all good.
It's all fine. Everything's okay.
Don't panic.
But no, it was just it's filmed just. It's so much an episode of Scooby-Doo, and it pisses me off, dude. It just. So, this is Scooby-Doo 2. Where all of the monsters show up? All their previous monsters show up?
Kind of. To a degree,
because one...
yeah.
Yeah.
To a degree, yes, you're not wrong.
And I hate it.
But it's also not like a coming-of-age story where the character realizes that they had the powers to defeat whatever it was within them the whole time. This is a story of... Of course, yes, we've had the powers to beat them the whole time, but for some reason, we're not doing anything about it until it's almost too late. And, like...
Well, that happened in the Scooby-Doo 2 film as well. Remember when Scooby has to stop the thing from annihilating everything? And he slides across the ooze monster because he freezes it, and then I hate that we watched this film, so now it's in my fucking brain.
Yeah, that's what happens in Scooby-Doo. What happened? That Scooby-Doo...
But it's last second.
No, what I mean is, like, Scooby-Doo in that movie learns that within him, he doesn't need to be the scary person because even Velma idolizes him, and she's somebody that they idolize, and Scooby and Shaggy idolizes themselves. And Scooby-Doo decides that he is a grown dog and doesn't need his friends to be able to be brave. That's kind of what that movie is. If you were to boil it down to morals. This movie, if you were to boil it down into random morals, is like, don't be dumb. And that's about it.
Well, and that, it's okay to be different.
Yes, I guess, if you want to push it to that extent. But it doesn't really matter. Like, they say it's okay to be different, I guess, but they don't really earn that it's okay to be different. At least in Scooby-Doo 2, they kind of earn the character shift for Scooby-Doo.
I hate that I agree with you. I hate that so much.
It feels good to me that you actually agree with me for something when it comes to storytelling.
I've agreed with you storytelling before.
Yeah.
It's just that it's
Scooby-Doo 2. Yeah.
Oh God.
There's something better than a 2019 big budget horror film.
Fuck, I hate you. I hate that you're right. I hate that. No.
Okay, Dev.
No. Yeah, no, look forward to like the 3 spin-offs that are coming from this. Like,
So, remind me, in Annabelle 2, or was it The Conjuring 2? They had the nun.
yeah, the nun showed up.
Was La Llorona in one of those too?
No.
Okay.
La Llorona just showed up.
Was La Llorona in this movie, technically, then?
No. No.
Okay. It was just a very similar character?
Yes. Strangely similar.
Okay.
Just with different powers.
Slightly, yes. Okay. Okay. Dev, can I give this thing my popcorns and can we move on?
Well, I did have one more thing about that character.
Okay.
It's that character, like, cause there's the wedding dress character.
Yeah.
Who's supposed to be, who once you wear the dress you become violent is exactly what they say. Just really fucking cheesy. But if we're gonna talk about Lorena real quick, it's disconnected from the rest of it because it takes place in the 90s, if I remember correctly.
La Llorona?
Yeah.
I think so. That sounds about right.
And all of these have taken place like 70s. Except for the nun.
I have no idea, man. Timelines of these movies are weird. I mean, I'm sure if I actually paid attention, it'd all make sense, but I haven't paid attention to the timelines.
I'll pull it up real quick.
Conjuring universe timelines.
Yeah, Conjuring timeline. Because the nun's the first one, obviously.
Oh, wow. Lots of people have been asking this, especially in the last 2 days. What is the timeline? So, this one says Annabelle creation was first, with it being dated from like 1943 to about 1967.
Well, that's wrong, because the nun, the first part of the
52.
nun was 476. Because of the whole Blood of Christ thing and everything.
Oh, that... Okay, you're being ridiculous at that point. That's literally a cutaway scene. Like, when the nun was resolved was 1971.
No, that was 1952.
And then it was brought back in 71 with The Conjuring, then. Fine.
No, Conjuring 2 would have been 1977 was when that one ended.
This says here that the very final scene where the movie skips ahead to 1971 in The Conjuring is where we get to see the nun rebirth.
Yeah, but I'm saying the nun gets solved in Conjuring 2.
Okay.
Because that's the main boss in Conjuring 2. It's the nun.
La Llorona happens the year after this. Annabelle Comes Home. Conjuring 2 happens in 77.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Conjuring 3 is going to be...
So it essentially goes Nun, Annabelle Creation, Annabelle, Conjuring 2, Annabelle Comes Home. Which seems off, because don't they get the Annabelle doll in Conjuring 1?
No, Annabelle is before Conjuring 2.
Okay. Annabelle Comes Home is before that?
Yes. It goes Conjuring, then Annabelle Comes Home. Because in The Conjuring, they bring... I think what's happening in this movie is... in The Conjuring, they bring the doll home. And this is when they're off to probably help the some other family around the time of the original Conjuring.
I'm trying to figure out when the curse of Lorena is supposed to take place now. 1973, really? Wow. So yeah, no, Curse of La Llorona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it happens before Conjuring 2, but after Conjuring 1. So.
And after Annabella?
And after Annabelle, yeah.
Comes Home. Okay. So that means because this franchise plans on doing a stuff about what's going on at their home, and then them doing
I think that
Conjuring stuff.
yeah, Annabelle is the stuff that's happening at their home story side, and then Conjuring is going to be them fixing stuff in the world. That's my assumption.
Yes.
So my guess is Conjuring 3 is going to be the daughter and her now old parents figuring out something.
Which means in Annabelle 4, maybe La Lorena shows up?
Yeah, then it's going to be the crossover of a century. Where, see, this is going to be the Avengers meetup, is going to be Annabelle 4 or 5 with the Conjuring universe. Where all the villains meet up and they create their own Sinister Six.
We've got La Lorena, Annabelle, the ferryman, Valakis the nun.
Oh, God. We can't give Hollywood ideas. It might actually happen, Dev.
What are we kidding? This is already in the fucking works.
So, anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, I'm giving you 10 popcorns.
I'm giving this movie, it's also a 5. It has different things that I like than Chucky or Child's Play, but it's still not good.
I'm giving it a 4.5. I was falling asleep during it.
Okay.
Probably actually a 4 now that I think about it. It's just, it's too much sequel bait.
And Scooby-Doo was better.
I hate to say it, dude. Scooby-Doo 2 is better.
Okay. So now, all said and done, we're going to hop back in and switch gears back into Child's Play. So you can spoil that movie. And then we'll probably compare and contrast the two when it comes to moments of the film. So, yada blah blah.
Chucky's doll scarier.
Yes. So, the creepiest moment of this movie to me was the sheer fact that the company decided, you know what, let's give children control of the house. Like,
they'll probably do it better than the parents.
Sure, yes, fine. Like, the sheer fact that these Buddy dolls, I am your buddy, your bestest friend. Yeah. That, like, the Buddy was it's just the selling, the advertising of the Buddy dolls and the setup for this film was creepier for me overall than the actual moments in this movie. Don't get me wrong. Like, when Chucky first starts learning how to exist and do things, he has creepy moments. But I don't know. Overall, like, just the intro of, like, your buddy can draw and turn on TV and change the temperature. It can connect to any Kaplan app, so it can get vehicles and bring them for you. And it's like, the fuck, man? That is
pretty much the entire beginning of the film is, this is what Buddy's gonna use to kill people.
Yeah, that's exactly what that was.
Which, alright, Chekhov's gun, check.
Like,
a lot of Chekhov's gun.
Yeah, literally every single thing that, and
Chekhov's armory.
Yes, and like that all happened. That was interesting. They had Saw moments in this movie as well, literal Saw and figurative Saw moments.
Yeah,
the
very much.
That wasn't an intended joke. It just kind of clicked as I was going along. Like, fuck. Like, this movie, I don't know. Because, as I said before, it's techno fear, so people who don't understand technology, or rich white people who have, like, the iHome or the Google house systems or things like that, like...
Bernie Burns and Gavin Freeze, if you would.
Like, I'm pretty sure any one of them would be terrified of this movie if they didn't think about it enough. Like, don't get me wrong. They'd probably have more of a chance to be afraid of this movie than I was, because I was sitting here like, sure, technology can work that way, but that's not how it works right now, so I'm not afraid of that.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. This movie was funny, and it was creepy, and it was cute, but it was also interesting all at the same time. One part that I thought was weird was like when Darlene died. Like literally, she stops in front of her friends, and then we never see those friends again. And like I know they're
Well,
not
really during doing that, it's like, oh, Darlene's just doing her thing, I guess.
Yeah, like what the hell? Like they don't even. I would have felt 100 times better if they at least had somebody check up on the car after it like starts to pull away and she's crashed, and like at least her two friends running up would have made me feel better, because then it would have felt like they remembered the continuity of where she was in the scene. Like she's in front of a store, then suddenly she's like in this huge.
No, she's in front of the bingo hall, which looks strangely like Zeb Mart outside. Which
bit, yes.
makes me feel like all they had was this one set, and they're like, all right, just change the sign on the front.
That's probably what they did, actually, yeah. And after that one moment, like, she was whipping around all over the place in the parking lot. And there's like, it's weird. It just looks like a giant empty parking lot. It doesn't look like there's a city nearby. As she's just and she's in the middle of the freaking, I don't know. It's just this movie's continuity and where it places things feels weird.
Well, like the same thing inside the Zeb Mart. There is at least 20 Chucky dolls, okay? Or Buddy dolls, as they're called. And Chucky is able to possess them. And these are the Buddy 2s, apparently.
Yeah,
and some of them are teddy bears. With apparently those fucking razor-sharp fangs.
Which makes me freaking wonder, like, how is the new and advanced Buddy 2 able to be hacked by the Buddy 1 when all of the Buddy 2s still supposedly have all of their initial programming active? They have all of the safety overrides that were in them, compared to this Buddy, which, by the way, I thought was stupid that the setup was they overworked a guy, and because of that, and they fired him, and because of that, he made a killing doll. Like, I don't know, man.
Somehow, I kind of enjoy the backstory to the original Chucky doll.
I like the original backstory better.
That it was actually possessed by a person. God, that series is weird.
Yeah, it was. And then Chucky manages to do it to somebody else, and somebody else. Yeah, the original series was weird, but it was scary. Like.
I would. Okay, I'm gonna counter you with saying I don't think they were ever actually scary.
I mean,
they're scary to your adolescent mind.
Brains, yeah.
Yes.
That one scene.
Our adolescent brains were scared.
That one scene in The Bride of Chucky when the people are having sex on the waterbed with the mirror above and then it crumble. Man, that was traumatizing.
Anyways, what I'm more trying to say is that. This film isn't gonna scare anyone. His backstory is weird, and but I gotta say, I enjoyed Chucky because Mark Hamill just does this great job of being this character trying to learn existence, like learn what life is.
Yeah, Mark Hamill did.
He does a great Howl / number 5 is how I would describe that character.
I don't know. Like, it just all feels a little off to me. Like, Can
I ask why you enjoyed this one less than Annabelle? What actually
I guess
truly made you enjoy the other one?
I think, once again, it's kind of like the whole I prefer fantasy over sci-fi more kind of thing. And Annabelle is more of a fantasy story compared to this being a sci-fi story.
That's fair.
That would be my top guess. Because, like,
I know why I enjoyed this one more is because yeah, but also I liked the character more, I guess.
Okay.
Because I'll say this, Annabelle never became an issue. Like, Annabelle herself was never
the problem.
No, well, I mean, she was, but she didn't feel like she was.
Yeah, it was what she caused that was the problem.
Yeah. Well, in this one, with Child's Play, Chucky is legitimately the threat.
Yeah. So, like, in that case,
And
it's
he starts
better.
doing shit within the first 40 minutes, shit's happening.
Yeah, with the cat and stuff and the learning. Yeah. So, you're
Like,
not entirely wrong. You're not wrong, actually. But
Okay, that's fair. I wasn't gonna argue if you said I was wrong
Yeah.
in the sense of, well, not that I don't think that's an argument that I can be wrong on. More of a like if difference of opinion on.
I guess with me, it's just like the pacing and the setup for everything. Like, I don't know. I felt like Chucky was just a little bit. I don't know. Like, Chucky felt more like jump scary, like less thought out when it came to its scares to me. But because it was just better, really. I don't know. But when it came to Annabelle, like
I'm also wondering if because we watched them in reverse order from each other, if our opinions are different because of that too.
that could also be it because I walked into Chucky with like an open eye. It's like or buddy whatever Child's Play. I walked in and was like, yeah, let's go. This shouldn't be too bad, and it was fine. I was just kind of bored, and then Annabelle was something different from what I had literally just watched, and I was like, hey.
Because that's exactly part of the thing that happened with me was Annabelle was me sitting there being like, oh
Yeah, and then Chucky or Child's Play was different.
yeah.
So I guess order matters.
Yeah, maybe that's part of why our opinions are different on that.
Who's a psychologist?
Not I.
So, like, I don't know. I just liked I don't know. Like, when I was at least watching Annabelle, at moments, I felt like I had chills. Like, it wasn't necessarily like I had goosebumps or chills, but, like, it gave me this feeling that Child's Play didn't give me. And
That's fair.
It was probably just my own kind of, like, anticipation of what I hoped was going to happen, rather than what actually happened, but that could very well be what it was.
That's fair. Like, for me, it was that, like, Annabelle felt like a goddamn DC, or, like, earlier DC films. Let's be honest, the last two DC films, not bad.
Mm-hmm.
I felt we enjoyed those.
Yeah, they weren't bad.
But, like, those DC films where they're trying to cram a universe into one film, Annabelle did that with, like, booze. Huh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Kind of moments.
See, like, at least with Annabelle, like, in the very beginning, the reason why, like, I'll do a direct comparison with the jump scare. Like, you mentioned the refrigerator moment. How you see Chucky, you open the fridge, you close it, you don't see Chucky, you open it, you close it, there's Chucky. Like, that is a stereotypical setup, misdirect, jump scare kind of thing. At least in Annabelle, in the very beginning of the film, when Annabelle starts being creepy, it's in front of the cemetery. They set up for the misdirect jump scare, and then they
You don't know what I did? I went 3, 2, 1, and the map went down. I'm like, oh,
yeah, and then nothing
right.
was there. Yeah, I was like,
all right, so this is gonna be one of those longer,
see,
tension building ones.
yes, and I liked that. Like, it built up towards the moment when it was scary. Like, and so I literally sat there because at the first moment when she puts up the map to the side, I was like, that is literally the laziest physical blocking you could physically do in this moment. And it was to accentuate the fact that it was going to be a fake jump scare, obviously. It was to build up tension. But God, was that terrible. Then she pulls it down, and then it's like, okay, fine, good, thank God. And then it slowly keeps going because we get to see the reflection of a girl. We get to hear her voice. We look back, she's gone.
We actually never see the reflection.
Oh yeah, like
it's in the trailer. I noticed that.
Get to see the girl for a second.
Yeah, but we don't get to see the reflection in the mirror, which is actually in the trailer. I've found out.
Yeah, okay.
Because the trailer for Annabelle was playing when I went to Child's Play. I'm like, Oh wow, some of these scenes didn't make it to the film.
That happens sometimes, yeah. But yeah, so like then she looks over and she sees ghosts, and it's like, okay, things are starting to get bad. And then the dad puts down the hood, and then finally there's like 20 to 30 things. It's like, that was more than I was expecting. Like, that I thought was a good build up towards what could be considered a scare. It was long, it was slow, it was tension building. It felt creepy, especially because there was nothing that she could do in the situation. And I was like, this is cool. But then later on, literally all they needed to do was to find Annabelle and put her back in her cabinet. With this, there was nothing they could do to stop Chucky, because he had control of everything. Because for some reason, Kaplan Industries is the new...
Are a bunch of idiots.
Yeah. Like, how the hell do you decide to sync up a car and your waffle iron and a freaking remote control helicopter? What?
Because they're all on one app.
Yeah. Every Kaplan thing is all in the same app, and Kaplan is like Google, apparently, / Apple mixed together, and...
I wouldn't even say they're that. There's something else, in my opinion, because, like, none of the,
Go ahead.
None of them that I know of, those kind of, like...
Big industries.
Companies, don't all use one app for their stuff.
It's true. Like, Apple at least has...
You can sync them in different ways to each other.
But so yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, it's just either way, what happens is ridiculous. Like, they stretch the rules of reality of what we believe is possible right now in current times to an nth degree that makes it unrealistic to me and unlike livable. Don't get me wrong, Mark Hamill definitely made this movie worthwhile, but at the same time, when I said that this was a film that didn't need to be made and was only being made and advertised and it was only going to be popular because of Mark Hamill, you're kind of proving the point to me. Like, Dev.
Okay, it would have been far less entertaining without Mark Hamill. I will straight up admit that.
You're probably not wrong. I'm trying to think of other voice actors who could do, like, a nice, creepy voice. Like, it doesn't have... It could be sincere, but then slowly melt. Like, who's the actor who plays it? He could probably do a good
he doesn't do a lot of voice work, does he?
I mean, probably not.
Hold on, let me pull up.
But acting and voice acting aren't different. They're still acting. It's
no, I know, but like, I'm more trying to say because voice acting, in my opinion, is more difficult. Because you don't get to put your body into it.
Yeah, it all really depends. Yeah.
You've got to make your voice your body.
Yeah.
You have
you have to live, like, instead of you being the character, you have to
Bill
imagine
Skarsgård.
that you're the character. Bill Skarsgård, yes. Like, I feel like he could have been a good... It's just like, I only say, like, we possibly could... Don't get me wrong, this is going to be quite the stretch, but you and me, if we were to do our own little fan Chucky things, we could make decent Chucky voices just based on what happened in here.
I mean, I know, but like at the same time, I think part of it is that, like,
because
for me, I do a lot of voice crap. Like, I purposely do a lot of voice crap because I enjoy doing voice crap.
So you don't really need to be like you just have to invest a little bit of time in it, and anybody can be a good voice actor. Like, literally, they tell actors to start out as a voice actor and then become a physical actor, because not many people believed that voice acting was considered acting when it first started becoming
some
popular.
people still do feel that way. Like, there's still a problem where people will be like, I need an actor for this voice, not a voice actor. But there isn't a difference, except that, in my opinion, you're more, if you're going for a voice, you more likely want the actor to act more like a voice actor, because the voice actor is going to be able to make their character feel alive. Like, if you look at the best, like some of the best in the business, Steve Blum, Monica Rao, Nolan North, Troy Baker, like, these are people who every voice they do, every character they play, you're like, I'm invested. This character feels alive. But if you get an actor into those roles, Peter Dinklage for one, suddenly that character falls apart.
Yeah, ask, like, Dinklebot.
God, that, like, part of me misses Dinklebot, I will admit, because of how dry he was. All right, let's go do this. But then when he was replaced with Nolanbot, it was like, oh man, let's go do this.
It was just like the mystery of things. Like Dinklebot was more of like, okay, I'll do as you command. I'm your robot, because he kind of misunderstood what. It's all about your understanding of the character. I feel like I think Dinklebot was more, I'm your robot.
It also probably part of it is also probably that Peter Dinklage did it for the paycheck.
Oh, sure, why not?
And it's for a video game, so it really didn't matter to him.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. We could ask him. We'll find out one of these days. How about that?
I'd love to.
Yeah, let's everybody tweet at Peter Dinklage and ask him.
We'll have him as a guest star on this. We'll pull up a couple of. We'll let him choose 2 films. We'll watch them with him.
Yeah.
And
then he can tell us why. Whatever. Yeah.
Peter Dinklage special. See, in 2 years when that actually happens, I'm gonna laugh my ass off.
Don't get my hopes up. Go ahead.
Like my opinion is that like Chucky feels alive because Mark Hamill is a great voice actor.
Okay.
Like he's done a ton of voice roles. Like it's silly. Like if you look through his goddamn like IMDb, it's a lot of roles. Like there are roles that you didn't even know he was doing that he was doing. Is essentially what he's done.
That's a way to put it.
Like I didn't even know he was in Kingdom Hearts until like I played Kingdom Hearts 3 and I was like, wait a second. I kind of recognize that voice. I went to IMDb and I'm like, that's Mark Hamill. As Master Eriquis, I think is how you say his name. The dude with the he's the counter to Xemnas. Xehanort, sorry.
Okay. I haven't played Kingdom Hearts 3
like
yet,
the two masters. He's not in just in Kingdom Hearts 3. He's actually in some of the other ones. As that character, what's the other one he was in?
Is he Ansem?
No, he's not Ansem. He's who I said he was. God damn. Yeah, he was Master Eriquis in Birth by Sleep.
Okay.
But like, he's Zemo in Avengers Assemble. Like he plays characters that you don't expect. Like he plays Swamp Thing as well in one of the things. Like it's his character.
There's a lot of things popping up right now for Mark Hamill. I'm like looking up news as well because I had a news article that I was interested in, but I lost it. So I'm kind of looking things up on
Fair.
the side right here right now. And one of the ads I just found, I was like, Mark Hamill this, Mark Hamill that, Mark Hamill this third thing. And it's like, Mark Hamill's done more in Star Wars than you believe. Mark Hamill played more voices in Star Wars The Last Jedi than you would believe. And
yeah, he played like one of the little aliens who was
yeah, he played the little tiny guy who put money.
Yes. But like and like that's the thing, like there's a sense of putting like if you look at Mark Hamill, you look at Nolan North, you look at Kevin Conroy.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. No, sorry. Mark Hamill actually did full on mocap for that character.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. They made a giant BB-8 for him.
That's cute.
Because he thought it was just gonna be a throwaway cameo, like that it was him doing it, but it wasn't gonna be. It was gonna be a uncredited cameo kind of thing. So he did it. But apparently they credited him with it. But no, in my opinion, the the idea of a voice actor is that you have to make the character feel alive with your voice, and Chucky felt alive with Mark Hamill's voice acting.
I can give you that. Yes, I'm just saying that any other voice actor who's a known voice actor could have probably done just as well. I
I
just
agree
think
that
Mark
they
Hamill
could have.
was taken because he's popular right now.
I agree, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know if anyone could do it, kind of thing.
Okay. Okay. Like, Mark Hamill does do a good job, though. Especially, like, I loved listening to the lyrics as he was singing over the end credits. Like, that was... Whew.
You are my body. God damn it. And, of course, they set up a sequel. I mean...
Yeah, they set up the Cult of Chucky sequel. What are you talking about? At least that's the one I think they're going to go with. Chucky's not in love at the moment, so...
He's in love with Andy.
Andy, you're my buddy.
Which, we all know why they chose that name.
Yeah, fucking Toy Story. Piece of fucking Christ. Yeah. That's what you call an illusion. You're alluding to other things. Oh, God. Like, this...
Yeah.
This movie was fine. Both of these movies were fine. Overall.
I don't know if I'd give Annabelle a fine, personally.
Alright. I'll give them both a fine.
That's fair. I won't argue on that. But I will say, for me, Annabelle was a because of the whole sequel bait bullcrap, spinoff bait bullcrap.
It's
Like it's overloading.
It only has 4 different monsters in the entire closet.
It has more than 4.
Like, now one of the things I did know that I didn't like about Annabelle too, just kind of switching gears. See, we should have just talked about Annabelle. We've trashed more. I'm just kidding. One of the moments that I really didn't like with that one, with Annabelle in the movie, was the TV, and how it kind of ruined the setup for a lot of the scares with the friend girl.
I mean, what they did that because it was supposed to be tension building because you know something's about to happen, and then all of a sudden you see something that you're like, oh my god, it's gonna end like that, and it doesn't.
Yeah, it's misdirect bullshit. Man.
It's yeah.
Chucky. So I don't know, man. This week, as always, when it comes to horror movies, I'm disappointed because it's my favorite genre, and
Have they set outside of our Jordan Peele week? They have yet to deliver for you, have they?
yeah,
Sorry.
it's okay. I guess the Marvel.
I want them to be good. I'm not saying I don't want them to be good. You know this. I'm just more.
Marvel movies are where it's at right now. And
It's not just that. It's just like we have yet to find films that like truly that I enjoy a lot that we choose that we have been able to truly feel like, man, that was truly disappointing. Outside of like Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, that one was pretty disappointing.
Every horror film has been.
It's just not a good time for scary movies right now, I guess. I guess Maleficent would be a good choice in October.
Yikes.
I don't have much else I want to talk about or spoil with either of the movies. I think we've got
Are we going on to my segment?
your movie news segment. Movie news.
Yeah, my weekly segment.
Oh, you never sent. Oh well, I'll find them again. It's fine.
Oh, yeah, I could send them real quick.
That would be easy. No, I have no way to see it.
Fair enough. So currently,
Box
office wise, Avengers picked up a little bit over the weekend and is now at 761 million. Not even gonna worry about the billion part because that's, you know, right next to each other.
Yeah, they're pretty close. God damn it, I can't find.
They're both within the 2,700,000,000 mark. It's now a 20. I was giving it a 27 away, 27 million. And over the weekend, it made another 3 million, over 3 million. About say probably based off of estimates this weekend, it looks like it made close to 5 million.
5 million this weekend.
Yeah, based on the dailies.
So yeah, well,
So
right now here, yeah, 27.
you know,
Pretty darn close.
it's got it in the bag.
You say that.
It's only been out for 66 days.
Understandably
Avatar was out for 238.
Understandably so, but you say that because there's been a lot of analysis lately about like the box office stuff, and part of it, like there's an article here. It's titled, fucking not advertisements, fucking advertisements. Why Avengers Endgame still might not reach Avatar with the re-release. I don't know what it is yet, but here's the thing. When Avatar hit theaters back in 2009, it was an absolute sensation. Screenings sold out quickly and frequently, even weeks into the film release, and it seems to be all people were discussing. James Cameron's revolutionary technology stunned, thrilled, and enthralled audiences, many of whom probably took the beauty at face value without realizing how special it was. Even knowing that everyone and their mom had seen the movie and were going back for seconds, I didn't expect box office numbers to climb as high as they did. Personally, with Endgame and Avatar, my opinion doesn't really matter, but the piles of cash is stacking up are what, man. Come on, tell me the point.
This is why you pre-read articles, my fellow chat.
I was just trying to be a part of this conversation in some way.
I know, I'm making a joke.
Yeah, let's see. Avengers Endgame is largely a domestic push, but it will also play in Mexico, blah, 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 has not shot, blah, 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 blah. It's not re-releasing in China, which was a big market. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it doesn't really say much. It's just saying that people are, I guess, overall, just don't believe that it'll do it because it's a Marvel movie compared to James Cameron's The Avengers.
It's not a real reason.
That's basically what I'm, without fully reading this article and trying to glean it at face value, it kind of just seems like they don't believe it because it's a Marvel movie.
That's a terrible reasoning.
And that it does, like, and other reasons would be that it's not going, like, re-releasing in important big market areas. But, yeah. There's a whole bunch of articles about that. So.
All they have to do is seriously just leave it in theaters.
Yeah, it should be fine. I'm pretty sure it'll be fine.
If they let it run for exactly as long as Avatar runs, okay? I'm not saying they will. They will probably cut it shorter. They don't have to because they can honestly leave it running until Phase 4 starts. Like they could just leave it running through Christmas, in certain theaters. Because like there are gonna be people who are gonna see Endgame and jump into Spider-Man, like myself. We're crazy and stupid, and we shouldn't, but we're doing.
Yeah, I would agree with all those things.
Shut up, superfans exist, and that's what we do. But like it's it's gonna hit it. I don't know why people are. I think people are trying to make it pessimistic sounding, so that it doesn't. You know what I mean?
Okay, here's a better article that says something. From Deadline. Says you'd think the re-release would be enough to get Endgame over the bump and past Avatar. Unfortunately, that's not expected, and if it happens, it would shock many in the distribution circles. Even if Endgame in the next week grosses, this is an article that was released 2 days ago, by the way. Even if Endgame grosses 10 to 15 million worldwide, many say that the final 22 to 27 will be an uphill slog that might require an additional theatrical re-release should Disney decide to go the distance and outstretch the record owned by the mega franchise. Blah 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 blah. Let's see. Essentially, the re-release offered an opportunity to bask in the sunlight of the Sony Far From Home, which opens Tuesday, and expected to own the Independence Day week with 125 million to 160. From that, we hear that Endgame's release won't be part of a greater Disney D-Day Disney distribution strategy to topple the Avatar records. So they're saying that at this point, that Endgame isn't new and exciting enough to keep building up the momentum with Spider-Man coming out. Something that I had said to you last week, but you said that they don't care about.
I didn't say they don't care about it.
You said that Disney doesn't believe you. Essentially, the way I gleaned that conversation was that you think Disney doesn't matter how their movies overlap with each other because it doesn't affect their budget, because they're Disney and they're just gonna make money.
One, they don't make as much money off of Homecoming, so they're gonna keep Endgame running. Because it is a Sony picture. Mm-hmm. Homecoming isn't their property. Sorry.
I mean,
Far From Home isn't their property.
Technically, that one is.
It's a Marvel Studio Sony picture. It's a partnership picture. Sony makes more money off of that one. If I remember the details of their deal, that were released, I think that Sony makes more money on the Spider-Man films.
That could be the possibility, but they're still considered part of the Marvel movies, and they're considered Marvel.
Well, yeah, no, I'm not saying they're not part of the Marvel franchise. Yeah, I'm saying that they're
but they're still but at the same time, I think you're kind of missing the point of the argument here in this article. Is just that because of Spider-Man being a new Marvel movie, it's going to be what draws in the audiences rather than an old Marvel movie. Even though
but I also
old.
Don't think that's the case when it comes to Endgame, because Endgame is in a league of its own. Hello?
Yes, hi. It was a lag there. Sorry.
You're good. But Endgame's kind of in its league of its own in what kind of film it was. It is. And like I said, they just leave it in theaters and they'll get it. Like,
oh, here's another thing as well that they pop up in this Deadline article. Essentially, it has to do with Endgame coming up far short of Avatar in lucrative countries outside of the U.S. and China. Endgame made 53% of its global gross in U.S., Canada, and China, whereas those two territories only rep 34% of Avatar's lifetime worldwide ticket sales. Meaning that Cameron's pick made up more ground offshores. Forget about Endgame returning to China, where it made 614.3 million, compared to Avatar's 204 million. China, the country, infrastructure back. China also has a 30-day play period policy on U.S. picks. Endgame didn't receive an extension. Not to mention, with piracy rampant in China, it would be prudent to bring Endgame. It wouldn't be prudent to bring Endgame back there, and that's where the majority of money should be made, apparently.
well, that sounds like more of a problem of the fact that China isn't strict on their piracy issues over there.
That's not anything that we can fix or worry about at the moment. We're just worried about the box office.
No, yeah, I agree that now that I've heard that, that's concerning to the fact that that is an issue over there. Like it is. And I had forgotten about that until you brought it up. Which wasn't as big of a problem during 2010.
Yeah, I get that. Sorry, there's a couple other things here, but they're not super important. I should read more.
I'm just saying, like, it doesn't need to re-release in all those places. It just needs to stay in theaters for an extended period of time.
So at this point, box office analysts don't believe you. So I want to see how this plays out in the next couple of weeks.
Or months.
Depending. Depending.
I don't think they're gonna pull it.
I'm gonna check one more thing. When will Avengers Endgame be pulled from theaters? Let's see.
It's all gonna be speculation.
Yeah, I know. None of these are relevant articles. All of these are talking about the re-release that just happened. None of these are when will it leave theaters. Don't have an answer for that. Let's see. The Endgame re-release earns $1.87 million on Friday. So this was an article released yesterday by Forbes, saying that in one day it made 1.8 million. So if it stays out, theoretically, if it doesn't keep losing, like usually the fall off rate for an audience is about 30 to 40% per week. So if that's not the fallout that happens here, they could theoretically beat Avatar in about 3 weeks.
And even if they don't, you want to know what like the still was making last week, or this entire last week before the re-release? It was still making $250,000 a day.
$250,000? That's not too bad.
No.
But still, $250,000 a day. Like, at what point is it worth... It's like, we're talking about such large sums of money that is $250,000 really worth staying in theaters? Like, there's licensing fees, there's, like, rental usage for, like, playing in theaters. There's all these other things that are out there that we don't entirely know about as consumers. Like, is staying in theaters for so many weeks more just to make $250,000 worth it? Who really knows when it's trillions of dollars that we're talking about?
Billions.
I'm talking trillions here.
Why?
I don't know.
There's not a film that's grossed $1 trillion. Not even close.
Either way, 3 zeros. We're still talking about numbers that I dream about.
Okay, yeah, but you've also got to look at it from their perspective. They want to be the highest grossing film of all time. And they're within a stone's throw of that.
I'm just skeptical.
Let's say this weekend there's the hype from this weekend. More people are going to see it over the next 2 weeks, right? Because of the re-release with the new stuff in it.
Yeah.
For the next 2-3 weeks, people are going to go see it. So it'll have it'll probably end up being the same. Like by the end of the next 2 to 3 weeks, it'll probably be back where it was, which will put it within even closer stone's throw.
I don't entirely believe that because this isn't going to be the same. It's still the same movie, just with more stuff added onto it at the very end. Like,
it's also cheaper to go see it in theaters than it is to buy it.
At the moment, yes. But if you buy it, you can watch it more than once.
But you also get the theater experience, which is what a lot of people like about a film.
Yes, but Dev, in this instance, the people who... Almost everybody and their mother has already seen this movie. It's nothing different except for the bonus features. So, sure, super fans will go and see it. And maybe even regular fans will go and see it. But not everyone and their grandmother is going to see it. So there's going to be a exponential drop-off this time, rather than just a progressive drop-off. So, I don't know. Like, this is a very, very good chance. Like, literally, as you said, it's a stone throws away from being the best movie. But even analysts, like, people...
I'm not saying the best movie.
Well, the highest grossing movie.
Highest grossing, yes, because
now you're just picking words
highest
to fight.
grossing film of all time is not the best film.
Now you're just picking fighting words, Dev. I'm
sorry because you just said it that way, and there's no way in fucking hell I am ever calling Avatar the best film.
No, I get that. Yes, sorry, but But still, like, people who literally spend their entire lives and get paid lots of money to analyze how the box office works are saying that it's not going to work out for them in their favor. So I'm skeptical at this point, as I was before. It may work out, and if it does, yay, hooray! Marvel did something. They earned
you don't get to do that.
They earned it. Hooray!
Fuck off! You don't get to act like that after all the pessimistic shit you pull with this franchise, motherfucker.
Yes, I have superhero Marvel fatigue. What of it? They could still earn being the best, highest grossing film.
I mean, yes, they are the best highest grossing film. I'm more saying that everyone's pessimism is also going to, like, the fact that everyone is throwing that pessimistic ideal into the market is also not going to help, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
As well. Because everyone's like, oh, well, it's not going to do it. So then the fans who may go see it because they also want to, help it get the top grossing one, and they want to see it again, may not go see it because they don't feel like there's a point, because all of a sudden all these analysts are like, oh, well, it's not going to do it.
I think that depends. Now we're just reading too much into this situation, because how many people...
No, there's actually a point to that.
Well, yes, I agree that, like, reviews and news articles very much change the opinion of people when they go to movies. Why do you think I don't read reviews or watch movie trailers or anything like that? Like, I understand that those things happen, but at the same time, you have to imagine, like, who sits there and reads analyst notes about Endgame and reads articles about this kind of stuff other than people who watch and do stuff with movies all the time? Like, if you...
Well, people who enjoy film.
Like, you enjoy movies, don't you?
Yeah, okay, but before we were doing this, I would look up stuff like that.
See, I only started looking up stuff like that because I started doing this, because my opinion started becoming known to the public eye, and I needed to try and be more relevant or more knowledgeable to things that were happening in these situations. Prior to that, I still liked movies, but I didn't read the, like, box office reports about how Channing Tatum's role in Magic Mike made hit. I don't know. I'm just coming up with bullshit now at this point. But
you are coming up with bullshit, because I would follow news that's relevant to the films I enjoy.
It's just... at this point,
and I'm not the only one who does that.
It's just, now we're talking about specific personalities over specific things. Like, some fans will be like, oh, I don't want to see it because it's being bashed on. Oh, that's disappointing. But other fans will be like, I'm going to see it more because it's being bashed on. And now I'm going to push it above this. Like, it's all about the person's mindset. So there's absolutely no, like, with us at least, I definitely can say that I have absolutely no way of being able to give a informed opinion on exactly how, like, the odds of Avengers being able to make it past the things, other than what I've said in the past. And
all right, fair. I'll shut up because I'm an idiot.
You're not
obviously
an idiot.
Doesn't know what he's talking about.
I mean, you are the casual, so yes. Okay. Is there anything else news-wise that you want to talk about before I show?
Nope, I'm good. I'll shut up.
All right. This week, I'm showing next month's posters now. All right. This next month, I kind of threw together last second, but I think it's fine. Next month, we're on tour. We're touring the U.S. and going to all these different locations to see all these fancy movies. I'm going to be right about here.
We're not actually going on tour.
No, we're not. But it's all of the movies that we're watching take place in the U.S., and I wanted to try and...
Well, one of them doesn't.
Which one?
Far From Home.
Well, I guess technically. It starts in Queens.
Hey, all right, whatever. I'm looking at this whole list, and I'm like, but no. What?
What are you talking about? We're going to Disney World. That totally works. So we start the first week, July 7th, in Queens, New York, with Spider-Man and Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and then Spider-Man Far From Home. Then the next week, we go on with our journey into L.A. and then swiftly go back into Florida for Sharknado and Crawl. While we're
Wait, does that actually take place in LA?
Yeah, Sharknado is in L.A. Crawl, I don't know the exact city that Crawl takes place in Florida, but I know it takes place in Florida, so I just put Florida. And then we stay in Florida, but we go a little bit further north to Disneyland to see the live-action remakes of Cinderella and Lion King. And then we end it all up back in LA/Hollywood, where Reservoir Dogs, because Reservoir Dogs takes place in LA, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which you can kind of guess where that takes place. So, I came up with the loosest connection I could and made a poster out of it.
Jesus Christ. I hate you. I hate you so much.
You hate my creativity. This was the main reason why we were running late for the show, by the way. I tried so hard to make those lines look good, and I just didn't have the time, and I just said, fuck it! So yeah. See, this is the fun part that I have with this show. Because, like, me and Dev work together in figuring out the movies. And then I can do whatever I want from there.
Are we done? I go back and watch some Animu.
I want to watch some Animu too. But we're watching different Animus.
Very, very different Animus, I'm guessing.
Yes, very. Because you're watching One Piece, and I'm watching that food one. They're both shonens, technically, I think. I don't know. Alright. I've got not much else to talk about this week. I was proud of that poster.
I can tell.
You try coming up with a theme for a month when it's no theme to come with. Like, we just picked the best movies we could. Oh, God. Alright. I've got nothing else. Dev's got nothing else. Supposedly. I don't know. I guess we're all done here.
Uh-huh.
Do you wonder how long Critically Casual's gonna stay together, Dev?
No.
Because we're done! We're over with! I'm tired of you! Oh, we forgot the spoiler. Oh, well.
Forgot what?
We forgot the spoiler button this week. Oh, well.
Whatever.
That happens sometimes.
Let's get ready to spoiler!
Darth Vader is Luke's father. For those of you who don't know, Dev just walked out. So, thank you. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining me this week on this episode of Critically Casual. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. Let me see if I remember all the things that the commands are. Follow us on Twitch and Twitter. No, I don't remember all the commands. Dev, I don't remember the chat commands.
Where's Nightbot?
You spelled Twitter wrong. You put 2 I's. Did I put 3 T's? Is that the problem?
Yeah, you did, you dumbass.
Oh, God! Either way. So, follow us on Twitter. Give us a like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Sundays, we have Critically Casual at 1 p.m. YouTube that goes there, whatever. Tuesdays is the new time for Third Player Optional. So if you like Third Player Optional like I do, and you like Caver J and Torn, you should watch them at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Tuesdays. Thursdays, check out the Har Har podcast at 6 p.m. with DorkDev as the host over there, where even though he gets full control, he still looks like that because his guests are mean to him. And yeah, I guess that's it for us here. Join our Discord. We have a Discord now. Yeah. I guess that's it. Bye, everyone.
I fucking hate you.
I know you do.
You fucking bitch.
Here, I thought you were my buddy.